Don't expect to have a close relationship with your mother-in-law or father-in-law. Hi guys, this is Kevin and you're so very welcome back to my channel. This week we are going to be talking about what to expect when you marry a Ugandan, either male or female. Like, are you engaged and looking forward towards marriage? What do you expect? That is what we're going to be talking about in this video. Yeah, so we're going to look at this under 4 different categories, where we have how many functions to expect, who hosts what function, what you wear for each function, and how many guests to expect. Yeah, so also what kind of relationship will you be expecting after you get married? So so how many functions are you going to have? Where I come from in Uganda, usually most tribes have a minimum of 3 functions. You have the visit, which we call Okchala in my language. I don't know how other people call it. Yeah, and we also have Okwanjula, which is the introduction, and we also have the church wedding if you're Christian. Yeah, and if you're Muslim, usually they combine the traditional wedding, which is the introduction, and together with the Muslim function that unites you two as bride and groom, husband and wife. Yeah, so let's talk about Okchala, the visit. So in the visit, in most tribes, they expect you to come and discuss, like the elders together with you, the groom. You come, sit down, and then discuss about what you're going to bring as bride price or dowry, whatever term you used to refer to that, to the introduction. So here you discuss what you're going to bring during the introduction ceremony. The family, the girl's family, decides what you're going to bring. So in our culture, it is the guy or the husband that brings the bride price. Yeah, I know in certain cultures it's the man, it's the female that brings the bride price, but in our own Uganda, in all tribes, it is the male that brings the bride price. So yeah, so what do you do? Who hosts the Kuchala? It is the girl's family, of course, because they are the ones determining what you're bringing. Then we move on to the introduction, or Kwanjula, or in the Western culture they call it Okuhinjira. So in the introduction, we have the male bringing gifts to give to the girl's family. Yeah, so you bring a certain number of gifts depending on what they asked you for. Certain tribes prefer cows, that's northern tribes, and also the western tribes. Usually the bride price will be in number of cattle. Yeah, but in my own tribe, usually no. The most important thing that they'll ask you to bring, of course, I don't know if they still do it nowadays, but those days, because most girls were expected to be virgins, you would bring a goat. Yeah, it was a must. And then the other thing that is a must is the coke for the brother-in-law. They expect you to bring it. We call it Nkoko Yomuko. Yeah, so you're supposed to bring it when you come for the introduction. Those 2 are what I know are a must. Also, you're supposed to bring the framed picture of the king. Like in my tribe, you're supposed to bring Echwanancha Kabaka, like for the introduction ceremony. It is a must. Those 3 are the big deal in my own culture. Other cultures, like I said, expect you to bring cattle. Yeah, then that is it. You come in to the girl's family and then like you bring those gifts as dowry. Yeah, so then we're going to talk about the church wedding. Who hosts the church wedding? The church wedding, is also the third function. So before that, also as in Uganda, we have a bachelorette or bachelor's party, but in our own tribe we call it a kasiki. So it has been there since time immemorial. You go, you party, you drink away your singlehoodness, yeah, as it's your last night. So yeah, we call it kasiki, and I think all other tribes adapted to that one word, especially the Bantu tribes. Then we have the church wedding, or the final function. If you're Christian, you will definitely have a church wedding. That is the final function. And that function is hosted by both the bride and the groom. They host the reception of that of that function. So they invite the guests to that function as they're the hosts. Yeah, so then we're going to talk about number of guests. I've already talked about who hosts what. So what to wear, not number of guests, what to wear. So for both the visit and the introduction ceremony, you will put on cultural wear. In my own tribe, the Baganda, we shall have the bride wearing a gomesi and the gentleman and all other gentlemen in that function. In fact, even all other females in that function will be wearing gomesis, and the males will be wearing kanzus. Yeah, you'll have the bride wearing a number of gomesis on that function because they keep coming out and then going back in. If you need more information about these reasons of why they keep coming back out and then going back in, you will let me know in the comment section down below, and I will do maybe another video about that. But yes, you will have the bride coming out, going back in, and usually the gentleman changes the coat because they wear a kanzu and put a coat on, like tuxedo coat or any other coat on top. So they probably will also keep changing the coat based on what the female is wearing, like to match the colors of the gomesi or the outfit the woman is wearing. Yeah. Then for the church function, you will have the usual white gown and then a suit, yeah, for the bride and the groom and all other people. Like you have the normal white or English ceremony. Yeah, so the dress code is also similar to that, and it's the colors are determined by the bride and the groom. Yeah, so how many guests come for each function? On the introduction ceremony and also the kuchala, the number of guests is determined by the woman's family. So for the kuchala, usually it's just elders coming to discuss, and also like the groom and the bride also join in, like they discuss the bride price, what they expect you to bring. That's it. So it's just a small gathering, just that nowadays it's not really small as it used to be because times are changing. But yeah, expect to have kind of like a small gathering. It will be like maybe 20 people nowadays, I don't know, 50. Yeah, so expect that amount of guests. Then for the introduction ceremony, the girl's family can usually bring any number of guests that they want to bring, but the groom's family is limited on number. So the female side is the one that determines how many guests should come from the male side, and usually they don't expect you to exceed that number of guests. If you do, it is considered very impolite, and usually you pay a fine for it, or the guests will be kicked out. So to be safe, bring a smaller number of guests. Usually bring fewer than you are asked to bring, or bring the exact number. Yeah, so please do not exceed, because they give you certain flowers, like they attach them to the kanzus or the coats or the gomesis to show who is invited in. And if you don't get, and they usually are made to the exact number of guests they're expecting. So if you miss out, you will not come in, or you pay a fine to bring that extra guest in. Then for the reception, or for the church wedding reception, The number of guests is determined by both the bride and the groom, and they are free to decide on which number of guests they want. Usually, typical ceremonies like go for like between 150 to 800, 1,000 guests, depending on how many guests and how much money you have to host those guests. Yeah, so it depends on the bride and the groom, however they want to do their ceremony. Of course, expect a lot of dancing on the ceremonies, because we are Africans, we dance a lot. It's in our blood. And for both functions, usually they do usually like the cultural dances and also the non-traditional dances, so expect a balance of both. Yeah, so I think I've covered everything that we had expected to talk about. Thank you guys for watching. If you've reached this far, please subscribe to my channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please comment what part of this video you've enjoyed thoroughly, and I'll see you all in the next video. Ciao.